I'm excited to bring back Bob. If you watch or listen to A Mental Health Break, you've seen him. He has an incredible book to share. And of course, I love when I get mental health advocates who write books, bring them on to Writing with Authors. So, Bob, it's great to see you again.
Oh, thanks for having me back and enjoy talking with you.
Oh, likewise. And everyone, if you've been following along with me today, we did that entrepreneur show. Now we're doing a Writing with Authors interview. My name is Vincent A. Lancy, and thank you for tuning in to this YouTube exclusive series. Remember to subscribe to stay current as we just surpassed 100 authors, and today will be filled with value because, Bob, you've actually made quite a difference with this book. What led you to want to write this book?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I got really fed up with where medicine was going. I and many others have been urging medicine to start addressing mental health care, but they've done nothing. And the fundamental problem that they're avoiding is this scary fact. Primary care doctors like myself are conducting 75% or more of all mental health care, but nobody trained us for this job. And so the results are just devastating. There's unnecessary suicides, unnecessary opioid overdose deaths, unnecessary divorce, school failure, job failure, addiction, and so on. And the problem is that psychiatry, which medicine has long thought was going to take care of mental health, but has never been correct, sees only 10 to 12% of all mental health patients. Psychology sees another 12 to 15%, but that leaves 75% of it in the hands of untrained primary care doctors. And the solution to this is simple: train these doctors who provide the care, but medicine doesn't do it. And so, long story short, that's why I am basically going to the public. The public needs to know what's going on and then insist that their politicians do something.
I think that's an incredible message to share because I wasn't aware that that's really the case where there's zero to little training done to prepare someone when you're prescribing medicine. You ought to hope that they have the training to give you the right.
That's right. No, that's right. I mean, I can put a number on it, well, which is even more shocking. Doctors go through medical school 4 years and then another 3 to 5 to 6 years in residency. Then they go into practice. Only 2% of that total teaching time, it's something like 15,000 hours, only 2% of that is devoted to training in mental health care, even though mental health problems are the most common health condition doctors see in practice. Has medicine lost its mind? That's where the title of the book comes from.
It fits
Um,
perfectly. Well, I'm glad you put it out into the world. But now that you wrote this book, what was one of the more challenging parts to the writing process?
um, one was finding time to do it. Fortunately, when I got retired, I started having time to do it. Also, professional writing, and I've done tons of that, writing grants and papers and written 2 textbooks.
Oh,
But
wow.
writing for the public is different. And I must say, I learned a lot from my agent, who helped me in the writing process. Regina Ryan is her name. And it's just a different style of writing for the public.
Yes, let's dive into that a little deeper. What was when you're writing a textbook, I should say, how are you processing the words from your brain compared to the more conversational book?
Yeah, it tends to be a lot of, it isn't jargon so much, but medically understood terms.
Okay.
And in textbooks, there's less of a narrative, there's less of a story. You're really simply laying out a lot of facts and directions. I mean, and they do cohere from chapter to chapter. But in writing a book, particularly like the Has Medicine Lost Its Mind, this starts in chapter 1, and each chapter is another link in a story. This is a long narrative from my start and the difficulties I had clear up to the recommendations I make. And so you have to be very careful to keep that narrative intact, moving from one to the other. And also, one of the problems I had was getting too much information into it. And with a long narrative like that, it's easy to get lost in digressions, which each chapter in this book would merit a book unto itself.
Wow.
And so be careful to keep the narrative intact and yet give enough of it so that it is credible. In fact, the book has something over 500 references in it, which attest to that. But there's a real balance in that and not getting too negative. I, in fact, had what is now in the appendices was in as chapter 8 at one time. And in reading that back over, it interrupted the flow. It was kind of right at the end, and it became anticlimactic. And so I took that out and put it into an appendix. And now the flow runs very nicely. And so that's just a few of the things that came up.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what, that's great advice, because a lot of times we get so infatuated with the right order, chapter 1, 2, 3. We live in a digital age where we can copy and paste. And I'm so glad you said that, because that I've learned from hosting the show is a itty bitty committee comment, right? Where, okay, well, hey, just get it on the page. Don't make that an excuse to not hit your writing goal of the day, week, what have you. Just get it on there, get a routine, and everything will be great. But what's the length of the textbooks that you've written? I'm curious.
The textbooks, there are 2 textbooks I've written. One is, in fact, you can see them both over my shoulders there. One is Patient-Centered Interviewing, Smith's Patient-Centered Interviewing. It's named after me by now. We're going into the 5th edition. It's the only evidence-based patient-centered interviewing method, and it's used in teaching doctors, nurses, and other people throughout the country. It's widely used in this country and abroad. It's been translated into 4 or 5 different languages. And so that's one of them. The other one is a primary care psychiatry textbook. And as in the first one, our research produced evidence-based method also for primary care psychiatry. It's the only evidence-based method that exists to guide primary care doctors like myself in how to conduct mental health care, and also how to teach it to doctors to do that. And so those are the 2 textbooks, and they both have been quite popular. The psychiatry book has just recently come out in its 1st edition, but is now getting ready to go into the 2nd edition. The interviewing book is getting ready to go into the 5th edition.
So let's talk about these iterations you do. Do you actually physically go in and make the changes for version 2? Do you have a team that does that? Walk us through, because now I hope you're inspiring some people here to get on there and get these big books out.
Oh, sure. No, we have a team of people. And I'm no longer the senior or the first author. I'm now the senior or the last author, and have had several colleagues now have joined me in this. And we meet with the publisher. She wants a prospectus, as it were, of exactly what we're going to do with the new edition and what's going to be different. You can't just replicate the same thing over and over and make it a new edition. And so it has to be new. That means changing the references, having them updated, changing the language, adding new material into the text, making it come alive better. And our publisher has some good ideas for doing that. And we're going to be working on that. It actually, in essence, means making some of the interviewing examples where we will have doctor saying something, patient responding or asking a question, and so on, we will make those in some kind of cartoon-like caricatures, in other words, pictures of it to make it more appealing and easier to understand. And so those are just some of the things. Once we then get going on it, we kind of assign different chapters to their various authors. We've just added 2 new authors, younger people, so that us older people, have some backup. And each of us will probably address 1 or 2 chapters. We then come back, we email these back and forth, go over them, provide input, iterating a lot. I mean, it takes forever. There's a lot of time involved in this. And eventually it comes together. The lead author now is a good friend and colleague, August Fortin. He's the one that then will be coordinating all of this and putting it together and dealing with the publisher, which is McGraw-Hill. Kay Connerly is our editor there.
McGraw-Hill, that's when I was a kid. Those are the textbooks. Wow.
Yeah, I think they're the biggest medical publisher now.
Oh my goodness.
In fact, they invited us to write the other book, the primary care psychiatry book.
Oh, wow. Well, good for you, Bob. I'll tell you, everyone, never give up on your goals and dreams. He's just continuing to unlock the next chapter in life. And now he's all in, not just with his new book, but the textbooks. I would love to close off the show. What's next for you as we're going into summer 2025? What are you working on? What can we get excited for you about?
What I'm doing right now is working on publicizing the book. The new book, Has Medicine Lost Its Mind? And at the same time, I'm doing some of the research on yet another book, which has to do with the details of communication, their basic science base, as it were, but also examples of how everyday people can most effectively communicate, and importantly, why they should. But that's still largely, I haven't begun the writing. I've outlined some chapters and so on, but I'm working on it. It'll come.
Bob, I love it. So we don't even have the next one done, but we're working on the next one. So I absolutely love it. Everyone, be sure to connect with him online. I've got his website pulled up here. Is there anywhere else that we can get in touch with you, Bob?
That's the best place there. In my social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Twitter, are all on there. So please follow me on that. And when you go to the website, sign up for my newsletter. There's a place right at the bottom of the first page. Sign up and for the newsletter.
I love it. Everyone, go ahead, get in touch with him. He's on LinkedIn. He's got his website right here. Be sure to say hello. My name is Vincent A. Lancey. I want to thank you for tuning in to this show, Writing with Authors. It's a passion project that is not on the mainstreams. It's on YouTube because we get that face-to-face conversation that I neglect on a lot of my other shows. Be sure to subscribe to stay current with more writers. And before you know it, Bob, you'll be back on the show talking about your next book.
Vincent, can I show you my book?
Put it up.
There
it is.
Does that get it?
Of course, I put the widescreen back on.
Oh, good.
Yep, everyone, be sure to check it out. And I think the cover is just perfect. It's simple and it's right to the point.
No, it really captures it. Yeah.
And that's another challenge. Let's just talk about that real quick. Creating that cover. Walk us through the process.
Oh, it was, I designed all of what went into it, but then the publishers, Prometheus Books, they did all the hard work, and they've done a gangbuster job with this thing, not just with the cover, but with the text itself and with helping to promote the book, as has my publicist, Joanne McCall. So we've got a lot of people working to get this out there.
I love it. Well, the teamwork makes the dream work, and they certainly do that in Bob's world. Again, I've got his website right here pulled up at the bottom, robertcsmithmd.com. He's on LinkedIn. And, of course, the show today is brought to you by ComingAlivePodcastProduction.com. Get started on your podcasting journey today. And with that, Bob, we're signing off until our next appearance. Everyone, I'll put his A Mental Health Break link in the show description so you can catch his journey in a little broader sense there. Bob, thanks again for stopping by.
Oh, thanks for having me.